Alrighty guys, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to Tomboy Official. I am about to head to the beach. It's 9:21 a.m. Let's start early. See if I can avoid the paid parking in my favorite lot. First, let's see if I can actually reverse out of my driveway because the cars are parked very close together. Alright. Oh my goodness. Alright, so our area, you can't really easily... Well, you can park on the street, but I mean, I'm glad about it that each house has like trees in front. It's kind of like sidewalks, and then there's a little section of grass between the street and the sidewalk, and you can park. Like parallel park on the curb, but usually the trees dump leaves and sap and all kinds of stuff all over your car, so that gets a little bit obnoxious, but beautiful day out. So okay, I am going to be trying to talk about some useful stuff that I've come across. Now, it might not be useful to everyone, but I feel like if you have a car, if you have a laptop, if you have a smartphone, you can do most of this stuff. So I'm not trying to make any clickbait content, I'm trying to be legit with it. So there are apps out there, like secret shopper type apps or websites you can register for that make a couple bucks. So two that I've come across, that one I feel like, at least in my area, is better, but they're both temporary. Like, I feel like it's not really something, depending on your area and what gigs are available, it's not something you can really sustain doing as like a full-time job, but you could do it enough to maybe afford, like, I don't know, like car registration, a tank of gas, like stuff like that, like stuff that comes up, like, but I don't think it would be like, okay, this will pay for your gas every week for a year, unless you really don't drive anywhere, so I feel like it's temporary because you would exhaust the options. Like, you can't just keep doing the same gigs over and over and over again, most of them. And okay, so I'll explain. There's one app. Sorry, somebody was honking at someone else. There's one app called... Dang it, I'm literally not going to remember the name of the app. I should not be looking at my apps while I'm driving, but I'm doing it anyways. Presto Shopper. Now, people have reviewed this app. It's not... Like, I'm just coming across it, but... I sorted through a bunch of clickbaity stuff and some reviews, and then I signed up for it, looked in my own area. So there are blue ones that are usually like about $10 payments, and there are orange ones that can be $8.50, $10, $15, $60. But the problem is, a lot of them in my area require you to sign up for credit cards or like a checking or savings account, like something that's why I say it's not really sustainable, because it's not really something you're gonna need like 50 of them, or like need to make a new one like every day or whatever. Like, it's not something that you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to like 10 banks today for $10 each, make $100 real quick, and sign up for all these like credit cards or debit cards or bank accounts. Like, it just isn't a sustainable thing, right? I mean, like, maybe I'm wrong and maybe you can cancel them. I don't know like how that would affect your credit score, you know, time of accounts open, and if you're opening them and closing them and all this stuff, that might create some kind of suspicion. But I guess you could technically do that. But I think I live in LA, and I know that I would even exhaust the ones that are within a distance that I would be willing to actually drive, right? Because I feel like once you do the gigs in your area, you're not going to keep going and doing them like further away, like going like really far away. I mean, you could technically like time it, but that's what I mean. Like, it depends what gigs are in your area and if it's something that you can repetitively do. So I wouldn't consider it something. That's why I say, like, yeah, you could do it until you like get yourself a tank of gas, or like for like a goal to like pay for something. Like, I was saying, like, you know, for myself, like lately, I'm kind of focused on trying to get like concert tickets, or, you know, paying for stuff that's really not necessity. So if it's stuff like that where it's like, okay, I'm just trying to like collect some money, you know, enough to kind of do little hobby stuff, I think you could probably do that. And another thing is that it doesn't pay, like, you know, if you've ever done like Uber Eats or Postmates and stuff like that, those tend to pay, I think, faster. Like, I don't know if they pay every day, or like, I don't remember, honestly. Everything's changed so fast and so much lately that I really don't remember like what's what, in all honesty, if I'm honest. But yeah, I think it can be like a month or so later that you'll get paid. So if you're not making like a lump sum, it's going to be a little bit harder. So that's one thing. There's this other, and basically, like, yeah. So you'd have to look in your area, because I can't compare my area to everyone else's. Like, the person whose best review I saw, I believe he was in like Dallas, Texas, and he was able to find enough of the blue ones to kind of do them every day, and makes like, it sounds like about $400 a month or so. From doing it like between, like, you know, when you're driving to or from work, or like when you are already on the road doing something, it adds up, right? It adds up. And so that's what I mean, is like, it depends what's in your area. In my area, there's nothing that I really see as like sustainable to do it every single day, to like consistently like pay your bills or whatever, unless, I don't know, like, unless you do something like canceling it, or canceling the services you sign up on, or whatever. Like, and I think that's risky too, because then you're gonna have like, I don't know if it shows up how many banks you sign up for, but there's only so many major banks, and then I don't think you, like, once you exhaust those, there's only so many smaller banks, and you can eventually get an account with every single one. I mean, like, I think that would just look crazy. Like, if you're gonna try to qualify for something, and it shows that you have all these like credit inquiries and all kinds of like nonsense, where you're just like, you know, paying for stuff, just all kinds of nonsense like that, it's gonna look stupid. Like, you're gonna look like a wild person, just like, you know, applying for all this stuff. And so, yeah, like, I don't really think it would help you. I don't really think it helps your scores, credit scores, and whatnot. I really don't know. So, let me see if there's a parking attendant here. I might be lucky. There might be nobody. Is there someone? Okay, there's a used pay station. Alright. I beat the parking attendant. Alright. Well, the thing is, I'm not really going into the water. Dude, I think tomorrow I might go in the water though. It's getting warmer. So yeah. So I just needed to see what time I can get over here and not have to pay. So I think I found a time. I don't know if it's the only time, but dang it. Yeah. I'm trying to park somewhere where there's not people. People just come here. Everybody, we all got the same idea. We always want to come here and sit in our cars. So I made it, and trying to decide how I want my windows. So, okay. So yeah, like I was saying, it's not gonna be really a sustainable type of it's not gonna be like a sustainable type of a gig excuse me, to do like more than like a couple times. Now I could say unless they change the types of gigs, and then the other site that I think is probably better, but still, again, the same problem. It's not fully sustainable for like more than maybe like once you exhaust the stuff in your area, you're kind of going to be done. Because if they have the same types of stuff, some stuff you just can't keep doing, right? So one thing that I found is it's what's it called? It's called iShop. It's called iShop IPSOS. iShop IPSOS. So it's a free sign up. It's just like it's as hard as signing up for like a Gmail email account. Like, it's not that hard. You just sign up. You have to be comfortable putting maybe like your social and your PayPal. And basically they have gigs. It's a website. I think there's an app too, but there's a website. And the ones that I found in my area that would be maybe like $60. You could probably make like $60 a day in like about 2.5 hours, maybe even less. But the reason why I would say 2.5 hours is because you can only do up to 5 gigs. Each gig pays $12. There's an up to $14 reimbursement, and you might have to come out of pocket a little more than that. I think they reimburse you for the postal, so that's the one I'm gonna try. And they reimburse for the postal priority mail of a package of 1 pound of weight, Can't have any hazardous materials. There's a lot of little things you have to pay attention to, like you know, what time you go in, like the minutes and second, like if it's, you know, 12:39 and like 18 seconds or something. Like, you have to know what time you get in, how many people are, you know, there, like in line in front of you, how many registers are available, how many people are there actually at the registers, like things like that. Is there trash, graffiti outside? Take pictures if there is. And you have to basically come out of pocket um, for your what do you call it? You have to come out of pocket for um, like, unless you already have it, but you know, you need like a blank box or a bubble mailer, and you need something to ship, and it can't be in the same zip code as your as the location. So I figure, you know, I could do up to 5 of those for one day, and then 5 more on a second day. It would take me maybe 2 hours because they have to be spaced like 30 minutes apart if you're doing them the same day, even if it's a different location. You can't do that same type of gig even at a different post office within 30 minutes. It has to be at least 30 minutes apart. And I believe that means 30 minutes apart from when you left, not from when you stepped in. But I could be wrong. So that's the type of gig that I found, that I figure, you know, if I did 5 of those Thursday, 5 of them Friday, and again, the reimbursement isn't going to be like same day, and you know, they have to approve what you did. You have to send pictures in of the receipts, and you know, pay attention to some of the wording that the post office clerk says. Like, did they mention, I don't know if it's like, does the screen say, or did they mention anything about like aerosol, or anything like that? Like, it's you're basically just, but you do have to come out of pocket for the shipping. But again, like, they're supposed to reimburse you, but I don't know if they reimburse you if you don't if they don't accept your photos and proof and all the stuff that they say to do. So I would say you really have to be on point with it. You have to follow all the instructions to the T. You can't really cut corners. I don't know if they reimburse you for, like, if you have to buy boxers or bubble mailers. It does say that the boxes need to be less than a foot cubed, less than 12 inches on the sides, and yeah, so yeah, like, it's something to consider. Like, I feel like as far as like getting tickets for my Pride events and stuff like that, I could probably do like 2 days of it that would be like local, like in my kind of like my city, maybe the city over, maybe a third city over from that, if I do like Saturday at all, and then Monday do like do like 5 more or something. So that's like it's like $240 for going to the post office to 5 different post offices a day for, you know, 4 different days. And so that's not no money, but it's not like, you know, you're probably not honestly gonna do way more than that, right? Like, I mean, you could, but then you'd still be coming out of pocket. But it is, uh, if they approve everything, you are technically getting more money, right? So, um, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, yes, you can make money. If I think if you stick to like one type of gig, that's like something like that, like the post office ones, you could maybe do that for a little while, and not have to come too far out of pocket driving like really really far to do it. Because like I said, like they have to be 30 minutes spaced apart, so you could plan it so that they're all in the same area pretty much or close by, but you'd still have to like wait out that 30-minute gap. Um, and so depending on how crunched you are for time, but I mean that's not bad, honestly. I mean, you could afford a little bit of groceries, a little bit of gas. It could probably get you through a little bit of extra, but like I said, like you have to come out of pocket a little bit. Like the gas isn't going to be reimbursed. I don't think you get reimbursed for buying the mailers or the boxes. I don't know yet. I'm going to try and submit it. Um, I don't think you get reimbursed for whatever item you're shipping. So if you're not shipping something that you already have from home, like, I don't know, like a water bottle or something, like, if you're not shipping something, or if you don't have anyone to ship to that's outside of the zip code of wherever the post office is, because I would have just shipped them all to myself. Like, I guess if you go to a different post office outside of your zip code, you can start shipping stuff to yourself. It sounds dumb, but I mean, like, whatever. If it gets you a couple bucks, like, what difference does it make, right? But I don't know, for people who feel like, maybe it's wasteful for the environment too, just like shipping stuff for no good reason, if you don't really have to go to the post office, or just like, who the heck are you going to be shipping stuff to if you don't like know who to ship it to? You're just going to like ship it to random people, like, I don't know. Maybe if you like some YouTubers or something, you can send them gifts. I don't know, but I mean, like, still, it's going to be out of pocket unless you have access to stuff that was maybe never opened, and it has to be like a pound, 1 to 2 pounds heavy in weight, and so it can't just be like a gift card or like a card, like a thank you card or something. Like, you have to actually ship something a little bit with a little bit of weight, so like like a pound of beans or something. I don't know, but one thing I was thinking is if people have EBT, you could technically use EBT to buy some kind of non-perishable item and ship it to somebody that you know. That might work. But still, it's weird. Like, what are you gonna, like, ship almond milk? Like, ship like 5 almond milks a day? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, what would you even like send? Um, Lentils, like, I don't know, like, because you can't do multiple ones at each post office. You're only sending one thing. You can't like bulk send and count all of that at once. Like, you have to just do one shipment per post office chosen, and you have to, like, to apply, you just click a button and for the day that you want to do it, and say that apply, and then they send you confirmation email with your schedule, and I think you can adjust that, but I don't know how long in advance you have to give notice of, like, either switching the date or what. So yeah, that's kind of what I have to say. Like, and again, like, it's not like some of those apps where you get maybe like the tips every day or like whatever. Like, you're not getting like money every day. Like, it's gonna take maybe 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, I don't know how long, to pay out. And so if you really need that money and you're like crunching to the last cent, you probably don't want to send it. You probably don't want to do it. So I don't know. And then there's other ones on there that are pretty much the same. Like, I saw some, like, if you have a kid, between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. at Home Depot, they have some, like, kid thing, and it's some kind of like activity thing for kids, and you can like take your kid there. You have to go with a child. You could take your child there. I don't know the age ranges of the kids. You could take the kid there, and it's like 2 hours, and I think they pay $25 for you to kind of like see how are the interactions with the staff and the kids or whatever. Like I don't really know like what you're reviewing because I didn't qualify for that one because I don't have any kids or any kids that I could even like borrow and babysit and go do it. But I don't know, if you were babysitting or something, technically you could go do that. I don't know if it's free to the public or if they charge you to do the Home Depot thing. I don't really know. I didn't read the whole thing, so I don't really know the details on that one. A lot of the ones on the other app, on the app I mentioned too, were like, I think it was like compliance for like cigarettes. So like you had to be like, some of them said like 18 or under 8. I don't know what the ages were, like 18 to 25. One of them said like a certain age range to like 30 or something like that. So if you're kind of a little older, you can't really do that one. But there were a whole lot that had that, like checking for like if they ID for cigarettes or something. And then there were a whole lot of like the gas station ones in my area, a whole lot of the bank ones in my area. Just stuff that you can't just do. Not everybody can just do it. So that's what I mean is like you could make temporary money for like a reason, like if you had like a reason in mind where you're trying to supplement something, but you couldn't necessarily do these gigs unless they switch them up enough that it's, different stuff. But it might just depend where you live, or maybe if there's an area where you hang out a lot, there might be different gigs in different areas of your city, which is something I didn't really check because I was doing this at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. Just kind of having fun with stuff like that. I kind of like stuff where it's like I can help people learn how to make some money, but not really in a like clickbaity way. It's like, if you're gonna go to the post office anyways, or if you have some stuff you're trying to get rid of anyways, and it weighs like a pound, and you have somebody you could send it to, and you're like, oh, I could just send it to Uncle So and So, and keep going to post offices and shipping him different stuff, I mean, it's weird, but it's like, whatever, it's a couple bucks, and like for example, I have a lot of family members who really like Japanese types of, like snacks and desserts and stuff like that, and I don't really know how many, I mean, I can't send it to like every single, I mean, I have plenty of family members, I could send stuff to a lot of people, but after I exhaust all of that, like after I send like 25 packages or whatever, like they're gonna be like, okay, like stop sending me stuff. Like, not really. I mean, like, I feel like there's stuff you can send, like food, that's not gonna be like a waste, like, especially if it's not like candy or something. Like if you send like actual food that people can use, that could be cool. Like, I have some family members that really like those dried shiitake mushrooms. I don't know if it's like a pound though, because that's the thing, it has to weigh like 1 to 2 pounds for the thing that I'm trying. But yeah, like, I mean, it's maybe not like cushy, it's not consistent work. There are others that I want to review though, because I figure you could do something like that. Like, say if you want to, if you're interested in like what I'm doing lately is like with ebooks, I'd probably use the money not only for the Pride stuff, but also for ebooks, and for creating like an ebook. Like, I mean, for the marketing for stuff, because I do a lot of projects that involve, selling stuff, but, usually it's the marketing that costs, and the marketing kind of gets the traffic. And so that's one idea, is if you want to just like, if you need capital, that's one way to get it. But again, like some of this stuff, you're going to come out of pocket, at least for the gas. And like I said, like once you do the task, it's not like 110% guaranteed they're gonna approve you. And even if they do approve you, it's not gonna be like, oh, I'm getting the money now. Like you still have to wait for however long. Some people say every other, like if you post it by Friday, then if you post it during the week, then by the next Friday you'll get the money. And then I heard someone else say like maybe 1 month, maybe 2 months, and so like little things like that. But it can help you get a start on something that if you're trying, you don't want to come out of your wallet for like the money that you already worked for. It's a method of getting money that you're actually providing a service, because these people want like it's basically companies that are doing like they're basically outsourcing whatever their like quality assurance or whatever it's called uh, type of work, and paying people a small amount of money to kind of do what they need to make sure that things are kind of maybe like up to date, or if there's any kind of problem going on. They found ways to find that information by having these little secret shopper gigs where people go and do the little work. And again, it's little. It's not like you can do this every single day all the time. So some stuff I just wanted to throw out there. I find it interesting. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. I know people are hurting out there for money though, so I'm not trying to be like making like weird scammy stuff. And those are the notes that I've come across that I think somebody can do that's gonna actually help them to actually like something that somebody can do that's actually gonna help them out um, in the short term. And again, it's not like immediate money. So if you're like, okay, I can't afford my groceries and I need groceries now, I mean, you'll be better off getting to a food bank. Okay, so one thing I want to say, if you, I mean, it's kind of scammy, but I used to do this at work, and I had no shame in it, because I'm like, I was helping people in poverty, and at a certain point, I was like, I don't really care. Um, you know, I kind of, so basically, a lot of times I worked with people who didn't have cars, right? And they needed things, like they needed to get to a food bank, they needed to get groceries, they needed to get this or that, right? Um, but we couldn't take them to any type of thing or set up any type of ride that wasn't related to healthcare, and like directly related to like a healthcare appointment. And so one thing I found that I think I've talked about before is if you have insurance that covers rides to and from, appointments, we found out that store pharmacies are included, like Vaughn's or whatever, like whatever your pharmacy is, Vaughn's, whatever. Now, I'm not saying fraudulently go do it, but technically someone can have their doctor send medications to like whatever nearest Vaughn's temporarily for like a one-time thing or whatever, get dropped off there, go get their meds, and then get dropped off, get it, like plan it so that it's somewhere nearest food bank. And so for us, I think it was 4 business days. I would tell people, you have to tell me in advance 4 business days. I would say 4, even though I think it was 3 business days, but I would say 4 just for a buffer in case they would call me last second all the time, because some people would always call me day of. And the ride sucked. Like, they would leave people and all kinds of stuff. Like, it would be pretty stressful for some people. They'd be like stranded and have to call. I had somebody who once called their old landlord to come pick them up on the other side of town at like 5 o'clock in the morning for a sleep study or something. So it's like, because they dropped them off at the wrong place because they got the address wrong, and then nothing was open, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and this person doesn't have a car. And so they didn't have anyone to call, and we weren't open. And so, like, this poor person. But at least they know how to use their cell phone and had it charged and were able to get in touch with somebody. But, yeah, urgent stuff like that will come up. unfortunately. But basically, that was the way that we kind of tried to help people get to food banks if they didn't have cars, because we couldn't really take them, and insurance didn't cover the rides. But we're like, well, is there a Vons like right there, and you can get your meds sent there, and go pick up your meds, go over to the food bank, request your ride back from the pharmacy, like will call or whatever, and once you get your ride from the pharmacy, you're gonna be kind of good to go. And so yeah, get your ride from the pharmacy, and then go go back. Go back home, and you have groceries. But again, like, it's not same day, because you'd have to order the ride like in advance. Sometimes they'd waive it to do it like right away, but usually it was like, if you did it in advance, you could guarantee getting a ride. And so that's the only kind of like loophole that I ever found of being able to kind of help people who don't have transportation. So if they needed to get food, that was one way to get it. And I know people are kind of like struggling out there, and that's, if you look up your local food banks, usually whatever your city's 211 site is, or if you have an access and crisis line, you can call the website, or you can call the phone line, or go on the websites and see kind of what's available in your area, or get emailed a list. You can call these places, they'll usually email you a list sometimes of what's going to help you, and then you'll have access to it. And yeah, you'll be able to kind of do some little gigs. But yeah, it's not like super easy, guys. It's not easy. We all know it's not easy out there, but that's one method of kind of getting your needs met a little bit here and there. I mean, I think if you can get to a food bank, get the food that you need, and then do something like this, a little bit, you'll probably, in like a month or so, if everything you do qualifies, and you send everything, and they actually do follow through with paying back and everything, you can have up to maybe like a couple $100. But I don't really feel like it's gonna be like people say, how they're like, oh, like $1,300 a week or whatever. It's like, unless you live in an area where they have gigs, where the gigs are really things that you can actually do, like the actual secret shopper, where you go in, buy a candy bar, look around, see if there's like trash on the floor, like, see if there's a security guard at the door, see if the register clerk kind of greets you, see if there's any staff on the floor sweeping or whatever, and then just kind of buy something. They reimburse you for $1 for like a Snickers, or I don't even know how much Snickers cost. I don't even know what's $1 in a store anymore, but buying something for $1 and then just leaving, I mean, if they had jobs like that all over your city, or maybe you live in a city where everybody's doing all the jobs, so the only ones left, because I think that's what's happening to my area, is that, all the ones that are left, people are kind of sucking them all up, so there might be other ones, but just the only ones left are the ones that like nobody wants to do, or that people just can't keep repeating. Like you can't just keep getting bank accounts and stuff like that. Like, so there's some stuff you can't just keep doing. But I mean, I hope that's helpful. It's temporary though. I'm not gonna try to make it like some weird clickbait thing, but it could be a little more sustainable, honestly, if you are in a city where you have access to more like different types of stuff that you could actually keep doing every day, and making like maybe $20-$30 a day or something, just going and spending like $1 at each store or whatever. Like, and they have a whole bunch of stores for some reason that keep doing it, like that would be a little more sustainable than, you know, this other thing. So I don't really know. You guys can tell me what you think. I don't really know what I even think. It's kind of like a new idea to come across, but um, yeah. And then yeah, with that, like I was up at like 1:30 a.m. looking at that stuff. I had a good day yesterday. The interview went good. I think I talked in the evening about kind of how my day went, so I don't really have too much to say other than that I, you know, was up late, woke up early around like 6 something in the morning, wanted to sleep till like 9. Um, uh, had like a 4 p.m. today, like an option today for a 4 p.m. Interview, and I declined because I don't really want to work there. Um, and yeah, like these types of gigs and things, you know, they're pretty cool. Um, and I hope this is helpful more than anything. Like I know it's not like a job, but it's a little bit of something, uh, and it really could add up to like maybe like up to like a couple hundred a month, which doesn't go that far, but if you could flip that into something, um, you know, that might actually be a little bit better. Um, like I said, if you write or if you do like reselling or anything like that, you could probably take the money, buy some inventory, write some books, market it, things like that. Um, you know, pay for some marketing for your drop shipping site and stuff like that. Like you could pay for like a couple months of your Shopify store or whatever. Like it could help you get the ball rolling on some important things that could become more sustainable, but I don't really see it being like fully sustainable unless you happen to live in one of these areas where these people are claiming they're making all this money, um, which I do not live in one of those areas. Um, so I don't really know, but I don't really know what to think. Like, uh, I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of all I've got to record for this morning. It's 10:04 a.m. I'm not going to be at the beach too long. I've actually got to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to get done with what I'm doing early and then get back to the house, even though it's such a beautiful day out. I figured even though I'm tired, I'm up early, so let's just go, you know? But yeah, if I find more stuff, I'm going to try some of the phone gig ones, and if it seems, even if it's temporary stuff, I'll still maybe post it if people seem to gravitate towards this topic. If people don't seem to be interested, I just won't post any more of this kind of stuff. But yeah, I know it's kind of like off-brand for this niche of topics, but I mean, like, who doesn't need money? Like, you know, or who doesn't want money, you know, even if it's a little bit. I feel like stuff like that is like a little bit, you know, it's not that much money in all honesty. And it's not that much work either. So, I mean, if you're already going places, and especially if you're already going to be like shipping stuff, like if you already do like eBay sales or something, this would be perfect for you. Because you could just go ship your stuff that you're gonna ship, and as long as it's like 1 to 2 pounds and not hazardous, and you have the proper boxes, like we usually keep our Amazon Prime boxes, but the problem is they're not plain. They always have like stickers and all kinds of stuff all over them, and when you rip them off, it usually rips the box, so the boxes look all crazy. But I mean, technically, you could probably rip off all of the tape and stickers and reuse that. But they want plain boxes that don't have other writing all over them, and you can't use the flat rate mailers that they already have available. So you either buy something there. I think if you buy something there, I could be wrong, but I think if you buy something there, they might reimburse you. I'm not sure if they're going to reimburse you if you buy it somewhere else. So that's something I don't really know. But like, like, I'm not really sure. Like, I think it's kind of worth testing out, trying it. And if you plan it, I think you could probably get like 5 bouts out of it, maybe 4 or 5. I don't really see people getting more than 4 or 5 out of it, honestly, unless you really just post up in a different city every day and find stuff to mail. I mean, you technically could do that, but I think you're gonna have to go more of a distance and more of a distance and more of a distance, and to a point where it's not gonna really work out. But you could eventually, probably, even if you did that, you could probably eventually make up to like 1,000, which isn't even a whole lot these days still. But, and it, like I said, still, it's out of pocket. It's not guaranteed that you're gonna get, like, you're supposed to get reimbursed and paid, but like, say if you do something that they decline, like, they're not gonna pay you for it. So you can't like fake it, like, and you probably have to be organized. Like, if you're doing 5 in a row, you're gonna have to be organized about your start, your entry times, your leaving times, like all the notes that you need in between. Like, you're gonna have to be a little on it with that, and then paying attention to how much you're spending in gas. That's also a couple bucks. And so, like, yeah, like I said, it's not gonna be like a 100% free kind of gig, because you are gonna have to have a little bit of money up front to get boxes or bubble mailers or, you know, whatever you kind of need. You're gonna have to have a couple bucks for that. But yeah, like, I think it's an interesting idea, and I mean, I'm gonna try it. Maybe, I don't know. I'll try it Thursday and Friday, see how I feel. I don't really like doing anything on Saturday, so I'd rather do Monday. You can't do Sunday. I'd rather do Monday instead. But the good thing about just getting it out of the way, you know, doing it Saturday, could be beneficial too. So I might see. But then I'd have to have like 15 people to mail things to, or at least 5 people when I'm in my area, and then I could mail technically 10 things to myself if I really had to. And I know that sounds a little abnormal, but yeah. So that's my post for today. Just little projects. I tend to get into like little bitty projects and like kind of chilling and enjoying myself. Kind of like to spice it up and do some different stuff. I'm waiting for my books to get approved on Kindle, and then I'll keep writing more. But that's all I've really been doing, is writing and like looking at these types of things. And I'm kind of like going to be reviewing these types of gigs. So I hope that's helpful, and I'm gonna call it done for now. And with that, hopefully this is helpful. Thanks for listening.